It all started on the Gundo's Season 1 server. Young Choof was trying to live his best life and build a nice build when night came. Swarmed by mobs and being in the desert, I found an already raided temple. It was then I decided I was going to make this my home. From building a temple to look good, all the way to building a small city of Esmia. I terraformed parts of the desert, and when other players would come and grab some sand, I would fix, and the cycle would repeat. Seeing one thing I needed the most be stolen from me made it hard to finish the build. And Season 1 ended, without the build ever be done. So I vowed to blow it up and build a new Esmia, stronger than the one before. And this is that story. So welcome to the first episode of Let's Build Esmia. This is going to be a time-lapse style playthrough where we build the rest of Esmia in creative mode. Right here you can see that I am just clearing up some sand in the back, cleaning up the back, and terraforming just a little bit of the desert, removing that sort of whatnot. This episode is going to be mostly devoted to bridges, to roads, and to terraforming in reality. Here we're building the small road that will go into this plaza, this alley right here. I have great plans for this alley. I may put a little blacksmith in there, maybe a little market stall, who knows. But I do enjoy how it turned out. As you can see, there was a little bit of overlapping textures right there, so I just had to remove and go through. One thing I really do regret about Esmia is that I didn't use upside down stairs. It gives another texture that just you don't find anywhere else in Minecraft. So I spent a little bit just going through, updating the roads I already had previously, and really just making everything look as good as I want it to be when I first joined and when I first started building Esmia. And it was a long task. It wasn't the easiest in the world, but it had to be done. It really did. Doing this way also, you can see general rough scheme of Esmia. A lot of untextured buildings that will be worked on later. And for the most part, some new beginnings, I think. After this, we go into building the bridge right over here. It was a rough idea that I never really made, but over on the other side was supposed to be the market square. A little bazaar, if you will. So I just removed the old bridge and made this one. I thought a little bit on how to build a road. This is your first chief trick of the day. I like to do roads out of bright colored wool just in planning, so you know relatively where it goes. And also, if you're going into an open area from a smaller area, try and lengthen and expand the road just a little bit as you go through. So I build little stairs down. I'm not happy with the stairs, but you don't always have to be. You can come back at any time, and I swear I will come back to that. And that's when we start building the bridge. Now, I had a lot of trouble with this bridge, because this bridge is actually my first parallel build ever. I've never built a bridge, I've never built anything, really, at an angle. And this bridge was going to be my first. So I put in some support pillars, fiddle around with where to actually put the arches on them. But after a while, I feel like I got it. And this is where I go into full-on terraforming mode. I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to go into terraforming mode. I really wanted to work on the bridge. It just happened. I start using sandstone at first, which is not something that stays. I really didn't like the mixture of sandstone and smooth sandstone for a little bit. But that's a lesson I'll learn later. For now, I'm just digging out this little river, because it just stopped right halfway through. I removed that entire chunk of land right there, and so I can build really just more detail in the cliff. I wanted the land gone so I can add some extra stuff. A little bit of water and whatnot, going through, and planning out the other side. Now, this is where I change everything to smooth sandstone, because personally, it just looks better than sandstone to me, as a cliff material. Now I start terraforming in 3 parts, really. I start in the preparation, where I plan, destroy, plan, destroyed, plan, destroyed. I do the base layer, which makes everything look like blocks. I basically build squares everywhere inside a rough estimate of where the cliff is going to go. And then I start to put in all the details. Details are going to come in a second, as another thing I suggest you do is always fill in your builds. Yes, it's a little skit on my channel of filling in builds and whatnot, but you also get nice little things like while I was filling it in, I thought this cliff could have like little ledges on its own. So I built that little ledge right there where I guess water or something would flow down into the river, make like a dry riverbed, and I just kept going with it. And I gotta say, it looks a lot better that way than it did anywhere else. With this, I got my rough sketch out of the way, fixed the little bridges a little bit, and started to place my stairs and my slabs to try and rough up the terrain just a little bit more. Make it look just a small amount more realistic, more natural, if you will. One thing I do have to say is that when doing stairs, slabs, etc., never stay on one layer. Use a slab to increase or decrease size. Use stairs to add a little bit extra material onto it. And most importantly, play around. You'll see many times over, like right there, I mess up. I don't enjoy what I build, and I remove it. That's one of the best building tips I can give is, if you don't like what you're doing, you can always replace it. You can always move it. Another thing, step away from it. There, you'll see many times I'll just stand out to the side and just look at it. It's a process. That's all it is. Just gotta step back and watch. After I get my detail of the stairs and slabs in, I start detailing it by throwing in other materials. I use sandstone and sand on this just to try and rough it up to a tad bit. Make it look just a little bit more natural, if you will. Like if sand or water has made it fall. This is the final build for that side of the cliff. I'm gonna have to continue it around, but I kind of wanted to finish the old city first, and this side of the cliff also. When it comes to the canyon, I want canyons to be both sides, as they naturally are inside the world. This side though was a little bit hard, because I really didn't have much space to play with. I didn't want to go too far into this side, because I don't know how big I want to make the market at this time. So I sort of played with the idea of the dual cliff idea. It's only with a little cone in the middle. So I did my best to replicate what I wanted, and I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with this. If I went back at it, I'd probably have done both sides of the cliffs different, but that's the fun thing about terraforming, is that it's close to impossible to do everything the same way every time. So I have that little dried up riverbed again right there, and I just start detailing. I really did not do much planning on this, I just placed. And then about halfway through, I decided that canyons don't normally have deep water, so I just started placing slabs in there to try and get rid of some of the dirt look, and I added some little stones in there, because any amount of detail you can add is always going to improve your build, at all times. You don't ever want to go overboard with details, which is why there's not stones every few inches, but I think it looks pretty good for what it is. From here, I start working my way up. That's another little chief trick that you can do, is never do your builds all at once. Have a flow to it. Work from the bottom up when terraforming, and work from basically, I'd say, walls down on actual buildings. But from there, I start placing some little shrubs, some little bushes. Oh, no, never mind. Ooh, I'm ahead of myself here. I start to remove the sandstone that I just didn't like at all. And I start to put in more smooth sandstone around. And I rough up that area just a tad bit. I'm actually really happy with this side more than the other side, ironically enough. This is where I start putting in shrubs, bushes. I put little sea pickles to look like cactus, and I put some actual cactus down. And that is the cliffs for now. Let's get on to the bridge. So right here's the bridge. I start off with removing some of the blocks and replacing with the chiseled sandstone, just because I think it would look a lot better. I then added in a few railings. I'm still not used to building diagonal like this, so the railings were very hard for me to actually put in place. I fiddled with that for a little bit, but I think I got the groove pretty quickly with that. After that, I decided I wanted an arch on it, and I just did not like that idea at all. It was so bad, I got rid of the entire thing. I started to build a little frame and throw a roof on it. I'm also not very proud of this roof at all, but I feel like I just don't know how I can make it better for now. So another advice to give, step away. I don't know how to make the roof better, so I'm just stepping away and letting it happen. I had some more little supports on the sides and rounded off while flattening out the roof on the inside. After that, I redo the stairs that go towards this area, which I was going to make into the market area. And that's all that I do. It's not a very long episode today, but that's all I did. Hope you have a great day.